Okay, so I've made short scoreboard. Text does look a bit blurry, fortunately, which is annoying. Let me see if I can make this somehow a little bit clearer. It's still a little unclear. Oh my god, that looks really blurry. Interesting. Okay, let's see if I can just discard this then. Remove. All right. So I am not the tech or the most tech literate in terms of like streaming. So we're gonna make do with this scoreboard I got. I'll put it in like the top of the screen, top right corner. That looks good enough. I was gonna go over the strats, but I guess just the OBS setup got me a little bit messed up. So we'll go over the maps as they go. So first map is Vineyards. I'll pull up the strat sketch for it in due time. We'll just wait for the invites to the rooms to come out, which they should come out very, very soon. Aha, there they are. So I'm just going to quickly join. Already up, and I'll leave. So in the meantime, I do want to show y'all what I'm talking about in terms of the strat sketch. So let's see if this works. Okay, cool. It does work. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to. Okay, it seems like my stream wasn't starting or hasn't started for quite a bit, so that's a little unfortunate. So vineyards. Okay. Hold up for a minute. Let me just fix some stuff on my end real quick. Okay, I do think my stream is working. I just forgot to go live in OBS. LOL. Whoopsies. Anyway, so Vineyards, this is a very unbalanced map in my opinion, and I would argue that the south spawn is the auto win spawn because north spawn is probably one of the most imbalanced spawns in existence. It is just very weak. And the reason why I say it's very weak is because realistically, to win on North Spawn, you have to play for map control, and to play for map control, you need to win the ruins. And unfortunately, trying to play for ruins from North Spawn is just very bad because of all of these openings on South Spawn that you can actually just put easy shots into. So you can get shot crossing here, you can get just shot like this, and also the entrance to the ruins from the south spawn has this ramp right here, which is very well protective. You are hold down if you're playing into the ruins from south spawn, and you can just basically sit hold down and just pre-aim like this, and also get free shots into this. And then if you look at it from the north spawn perspective, you have to drive across this just huge open wide lane where you just have a bunch of openings. So a bunch of openings. Again, there's an opening here, there's an opening here, there's an opening here, and there's an opening here, as well as just the entrance to town, where entrance of town or not to town, the entrance to the ruins, like here, this opening as well is just a crossfire angle. So there's a lot of areas that you want to like watch out for shots from, especially if you're playing into ruins from north. But playing from ruins from north spawn, well, one, it will give you generally control over just the northern sector of the map, and by controlling this portion of the map at the very least, as long as you control the ruins, you will be able to cap the A base. And capping A means that you will have cap advantage, and you will have to force the south spawn team to try to push into a holding setup, which is going to be good because you're going to trade damage for distance. And then, unfortunately, I think just playing for ruins on North Spawn, again, it's very tricky because of all the crossfire. So how about playing into town? So unfortunately, playing into town is also really hard because there is a lot of crossfire again. So you can get shot from here. Oh, this is not an arrow. So you can get shot here. You can also get spotted like just crossing like this. And then trying to cap C is a is just a nightmare if you are playing on North Spawn. Just because on South Spawn, tanks don't really even need to like really commit all the way into the C corner. They can just sit here and just spot this entire cap or most of the cap. And if you're trying to cap on the inside of C, you're just going to get shot from people playing in the mid just over peeking you here, which is why it's important to have the runes control because runes can actually suppress a bit of the middle. It can shoot it a bit into B and just give you a bit more control over the map, a bit more angles I could play for. So we'll see how these guys want to play. We'll see whether they're gonna do what I anticipate for them to do. So I will show the stream, and I also need to figure out the free cam settings. Please stay. Please stay a little bit patient because my free cam work is not going to be the best. So just give me a bit of time just to figure this kind of stuff out. Let me get all the commands out real quick. Okay. So we do see the on the North Spawn we have Small Dog, 7 Rats. I'm just gonna call them 7 Rats. They are gonna be playing for the ruins with the double Karos, and we do see some very early blind shots. That's a bit of a crazy angle, I gotta say. Kind of shooting into the cap preemptively, but the Karos are just gonna go immediately to the ruins, and we do see a bit of an interesting play from Quebec, where he's trying to play towards his mill, maybe get an early spot on tanks going to A, but we do see these concepts are just playing hold down. They are shooting this under river bridge crossing by these 116s, and it looks like because of the Karos in the ruins, they are able to crossfire out and punish Keems in the concept very, very hard. He loses more than half his HP, as well as his teammate Miguel loses a lot of HP, and this is a losing fight if you are on the side of Moonkeys. You have lost the ruins, you are getting crossfired, your heavies are getting boxed, and it seems like they're not really even trying to fight. Like the Karo Weed over here, he could have tried to maybe play up towards the ruins to try to maybe put in some suppressing fire into the Karos and ruins, but nothing's happening, and slowly but surely, Moonkeys is going to slowly bleed to death. The 116 on the side of Carry is able to chase out the Bat Chat, but this is not a fight that's going to win the game, just because Small Dog, 7 Rats, they have a bunch of kills lined up on the left side of the map over here, where Elemental and King Ghidorah are creeping up a bit, just a little bit, trying to get a better angle on the Kron, on Nemo, on Jake Miguel, on Lord Chaos, and it looks like Ghost and Splinter Goblin are trying to go in for a pinch, try to go for a maneuver on Inferno, and just slowly tie the noose around the neck of Moonkeys. And looks like Weed and Carry are making a bit of counterplay a bit, just trying to put in some farming shots, but it's not going to be worth it. The HP that they have on the team is needed in the brawl, but even then, they are just going to lose this game just because of the huge HP differential. Moonkeys are 4,000 HP down. It is 7v4, and it's going to be a quick victory for the side of 7 Rats, aka Small Dog. So, well played from 7 Rats, and like I was talking about in the strat sketch, where they just go to the they go to the ruins on North Spawn, they were able to get a massive crossfire setup on the B cap and on the middle area, and slowly but surely, they just worked their angles, worked their magic, and they were able to just bleed out Moonkeys. So, well played to them, well played, and we'll see what Moonkeys can do on the North Spawn, and I do think they're going to have to pull off some crazy magic in order to win, just because North Spawn is just so hard to play out of. So, just taking a look at the damage spread real quick, we got, unfortunately, the 2 concepts who got caught out at the start of the game, Keems and J. Miguel, they did bomb damage, but that's understandable. They were just the first focus fire target. They were cross-fired out first. You got Splintered Goblin into 2 and 5B, the farm tank, putting in a perfect pen ratio, 10 for 10. Well played to you. And the Karos on the side of Seven Rats or Small Dog, even though their damage doesn't look that much, like one of them did 2,000, one of them did 1,800, I would argue that these two Karos won the game just because of the angle that they opened up for the side of Small Dog. So, well played, well played. And let me quickly edit the score real quick. Score 0-1. Okay. Yeah, I'm just getting used to editing this scoreboard that I got. Anyways, we're gonna see what the next game is gonna look like, and we do see a lot of concept 1Bs on the side of Small Dog, while the other side on Moon they have a lot of 116s. So maybe we'll see a bit of a mid lineup from the side of Seven Rats, and then maybe we'll see more of a pushing or more of an aggressive town strat from the side of Moon. So we'll see, and hopefully I can get up high. I wonder if I can't even free cam when it's doing the player countdown. A bit unfortunate. I'm not used to PC at all, so I think as I do more and more of these tournament streams on PC, I'll get the hang of my camera work, and hopefully I can offer good camera work as well as good commentary. So let's get up high here, and we're gonna see on the side of Seven Rats or Small Dog, they are gonna be playing what seems to be towards the middle, as well as playing for B, I presume. Or actually, it seems like these concepts want to make a bit of an aggressive play, maybe across the river, and try to play onto this ramp towards the A cap right here, where they will be hold down, they will be very dangerous, and they're also going to cut off a rotation for Moon. And it seems like they're not exactly going to be playing at the hill that I thought they were going to be playing. They're going to be playing a bit more towards the wider angle of the cap. But what this means is that Seven Rats has complete control of the ruins, and they seem to have isolated the concept at this ramp right here. And this ramp that the concept is at, it is, in my opinion, a bit of a weak spot because it's easily pushable, and it looks like Canna Cricket is going to be able to play down low to try to shoot Keem's tactic, but thankfully he does have support from the side of the Lord Chaos into 116 as well as Nemo, and even though Keem's tactic is going to die in his position, if Moon can trade out for Canna or bleed out Black Viper, this could be good for them. But in the meantime, the concepts on the side of Seven Rats were able to cap the A base and pressure Moon a bit in the spawn with the 140. But unfortunately, the 140 is able to get away with his maneuver, and he is running back towards the rune, while the concept 1Bs are backing off and taking a bit of a holding position. But Canna gets tracked out in the middle of the open. If somebody has one more shot for him, Canna is dead, and Canna does die. So well played for Moon, being able to pick up that kill, getting really good angles of Crossfire. But Inferno making a bit of a mistake, just driving out into wide open, getting clipped out, minus 1,500 from him. And on the other side of the map, we do see Moon try to make a bit of a counter push towards A side, where they are trying to move up onto the A cap, retake it a bit. But just the setup from Small Dog, where they have a kill not only in town with Inferno, but also the control that they have in the ruins with Splinter Goblin, the play on A is just not going to really work out very well, and it doesn't seem like Moon is going to be able to very capitalize on this. But they do bleed out Black Viper quite significantly, and Carry does take one shot from Quebec, so he is going to be down in the light tank 1v1, and it looks like Moon is going to make a very aggressive play onto Ghost, where they are going to just clear him out, but Weed has lost so much HP for that maneuver, and he is going to fall very, very shortly because Seven Rats does have a very strong crossfire setup in order to clear out this pocket that Ghost was in. So in this game, it is 4v5. tanks in the favor of Moon, but I just feel like that Moon are a bit too split, a bit too passive, while on the other side of the map, we do see that Seven Rats have a light tank who is not really pushing, he's not really playing for the cap, he's not playing for the objective, and we see a quick isolation on the side of Seven Rats where they are going for the kill on the Kronwagen, and Elemental, even if he dies here, as long as the 140 Splinter Goblin is able to kill Nemo, and as long as King Ghidorah is able to maybe put 1 or 2 shots into the RHM, this should, in theory, be a win for Seven Rats, and we do see Quebec in the town tapping C, stopping the base, and we see a 3v3. But in this situation, I think that Seven Rats just have far better positioning, they have an extra tank advantage, and they also have caps. So Seven Rats should be able to win this game pretty readily, and it's only a matter of time. 980, 985, 990, 995, 1000, and that is good game. Well played to Seven Rats, and I believe this is a best of 5 series. So we're going to see yet one more game, I believe, in this set. So this is going to be 2-0 in favor of Seven Rats. And let's check out the damage spread. And unfortunately, we just see a very weak showing from the side of Moon. Even though they had a very heavy lineup, we see 2 of their 116s were only able to do 2 shots of damage. And this isn't necessarily like the fault of the players. It's just the 116 can be a bit tricky to play. The gun isn't very accurate, and also just the positionings that they played for. Like these 116s, they were kind of just stuck in spawn, just going back and forth. Some of them went town initially, but then some rotated back to help repush A. And their low damage spread just kind of shows just the 116s weren't really applied very well. So they didn't play well on A, and they didn't play well on C. They kind of just died without really doing much in return. So, good showing, I'd say, from Seven Rats, except, unfortunately, Ghost, who's the caller, he did get caught out on A, but I would say that his death on A was arguably inevitable, just because the position that he took, he's kind of like a bait. He's just trying to anchor and buy enough time for his team to win the other side of the map, which they actually decided to repush into the Moon tanks that pushed past A, which I think is fine as long as they had control of the runes, but it seemed like the 140 Splinter Goblin kind of abandoned it just a little bit. So if the 140 was a bit more proactive in holding an aggressive angle in the runes and putting effective crossfire, I think the repush absolutely would have been fine. It's just not having a med to cover your wide angle is a bit suspect. But then on the other side in town, we saw Quebec kind of hold back a bit, not really go for the cap until they were sure that there is no tank on their side. So a bit of, I'd say, passive gameplay from the mobility elements of Seven Rats, but we'll see if they're able to clean up their gameplay in this next game. And we're going to see Rockfield, which I think is it's a good map. There's a lot of boost potentials, a lot of rotations that you can do, a lot of interesting cap plays that you can also make. So I'm excited to see what this team can do against Seven Rats. Maybe they can bring the score back a bit. So let me go high, and one of the boosts that you can actually do is on the south spawn, where you can actually push up a tank here, and then you can have them climb to the very top and see the entire map. But we don't really see a boost, so I'm just gonna see how these guys are gonna play. We're gonna see an early shot from Goldback into carry, so well played. Another shot from King Ghidorah, well placed. So the light tank is already at half HP, just off the rip. And we do see an early cap play from Elemental into the V cap. So I believe that Small Dog, aka Seven Rats, are going to have a very quick cap advantage in this game. And I don't think that Moon is going to be fast enough in time in order to punish Elemental. So Elemental, he may not necessarily be able to leave for free, but he is going to be relatively safe from where he is. And we do see a very aggressive, interesting play from the Concepts, where they are going to be driving very far forwards towards the seaside of Small Dog. And they know that they can make this play because they see that Small Dog have capped AB. So they do know that there is a bit of a weak presence on the seaside for Seven Rats. So making that aggressive play, I'd say it's kind of smart, but unfortunately, they weren't really able to capitalize on it because they could have maybe put in 1 or 2 shots into Splinter Goblin and Choloso while they were trying to leave. but that didn't happen. And Elemental is actually able to run away from the B cap, so he's no longer a push target. He's actually going to be a very strong anchor tank, putting in reset shots as soon as Moon decides to try to repush into the B cap. And if you are Moon here and you see that you are down double caps on Rockfield, you have to make a quick rotation play, and you have to make it quickly. And it does look like they're going to be a slightly faster on rotation than Seven Rats, but I don't know if just two concepts in a 1-1-6 is really going to be able to win necessarily. Actually, never mind. I just realized, like, looking at the lineup of... Actually, I was going to say that pushing with just 3 to try to win the top is generally not going to be enough from my experience of playing competitive, but it seems like just how far back Seven Rats is playing, it looks like that Moon will be able to just grab A for free, and it does look like they're going to make a bit of counterplay on the C side with 3, the Kranvang, Cho, and Quebec, but is this going to be enough? Are they going to take the aggressive play onto Carry, which is the correct play to make? And it does look like Carry is going to get caught out. The Light Tank is going to die, and Weed is going to make a bit of a desperate play, in my opinion, where he's just going to try to just YOLO himself into the C-cap, just messing up his first 2 shots, unfortunately. And it looks like Weed is just going to be the next kill for Seven Rats. So even though that Moon is able to just win on the A side, just losing the Light Tank for free on the C side is just going to cost the game. And if we take a very careful look at the caps, we see that Small Dog is in control of all 3 caps, and they have reached 1,000 points. So a bit of a misplay, I think, on the C side. Just the Light Tank was a bit too far forwards, got himself caught out, and Weed having to make a bit of a desperate play to YOLO onto the C cap, try to buy his team a bit of time, maybe pick up the kill on the Kron who was trying to cap the base, but unfortunately they just hung 2 tanks on that side without really having many tanks to push on the other. And if we take a look at the damage spread, the Light Tank on the side of Moon did bottom damage, 0 damage, not a single shot, which is a bit unfortunate. As a Light Tank, you want to be able to either farm or get really good vision, and unfortunately he just got outplayed, I'd say. So at the start of the game, he took 2 shots, one from the Light Tank, which is understandable. Taking trading shots in a Light Tank to a Light Tank is normal in competitive, and it's okay if you miss. It's just try not to bleed anymore. But then he also got hit by the Kranvang, who was sitting in the back. So well placed shot from, I believe it was, I think it was King Ghidorah. So well placed shot from him. But then after that, we saw that on the side of Seven Rats, they were able to grab AB very quickly, while also having a bit of a passive hold on C, where there was really nobody committed on the side, but they were still anchoring a bit in spawn. And pushing past the C cap and trying to go into enemy spawn from south spawn it's a possible play, but you just have to be very quick with it. And it seemed like the side of Moon, they weren't really anticipating or really ready for that play, so they decided to not commit for it. While on the other side, we saw a bit of I'd say a very passive game from Seven Rats, where they had AB, but they kind of gave up control of the cap on A. If I were Seven Rats, like, it's fine to make a replay, like a repush onto C side, but I would say hold on to your caps, hold on to AB, because you know that Moon, they're going to have to try to repush onto A at the very least, try to stop A. And then if they try to do some counterplay onto B, you can look to maybe crossfire that out with people playing up on, like, the road towards C. If you have high ground, you can shoot into the B cap. But unfortunately, we didn't really see that. And I'll try to get to my strat sketch just so I can explain exactly what I mean by that. And then let me quickly update the score. So score 3-0, well played to Seven Rats. And then let me get to my strat sketch. So I'm gonna not really worry about Vineyards. I feel like Vineyards, it's a map that is North Spawn sucks. That's kind of the moral of the story when it comes to Vineyards. If you're able to win on North Spawn, that's great. And we did see that Seven Rats were able to win on North Spawn just because they were able to get 2 Karos into the ruins and just kind of crossfire out the heavies on the side of Moon. So you had like 2 Karos, I believe they were probably, I'd say, here. Yeah, you had 2 Karos here, and then you had a bunch of Moon heavies that were just sitting like by the B cap. So a bunch of guys here. and they just got crossfired like crazy. Like these Karos, they didn't do the best farm ever, but they were able to just put in an angle which made the heavy tanks look this way, which means that the heavy tanks can't look, say, to the right side where they're also gonna get pressured from. So I say just because Seven Rats were able to win the runes, they were able to win the game on North Spawn. And then on South Spawn, so on the next game, I believe Seven Rats, they actually played for a very interesting, they went for a kill actually on it was a Moon heavy tank. It was, I think, a Concept who went to this ramp. Like, this ramp, I think it's generally a weak position because as long as there's a tank there, there's going to be a kill there, and the way that you can work for this kill is you can either try to peek from the middle, like just strong arm peek from mid, and this guy can't really do much, or you can try to play a bit slow, try to set up tanks like maybe like opposing like here. So you could set up like guys like one guy here, maybe a guy here, and then make a very strong play, like, through like push like peeking through the middle just to put shots into this one guy. I think this position is very weak if you are not trying to cover all the angles. So unfortunately, Moon, they didn't actually have anybody in, I'd say, the encounter cap, which is one gonna be the primary like counter against a mid peak. And then two, um, this position is also susceptible to pushes through, say, the bottom. So I think Seven Rats had a guy kind of peek like this through the bottom, and I would say Moon they were kind of ready for it. They didn't have anybody here to directly shoot like this. Like say if Seven Rats had, or sorry, not Seven Rats, if Moon had like one or two tanks in the encounter cap shooting this guy, he is going like the guy peeking is going to die way faster. But two, they did not, so this guy didn't really get punished, the guy who peeked underneath. Instead, I think Moon had a setup where they were kind of caught mid rotation, I'd say. So they had a heavy tank here covering, but one tank is not enough. You gotta have more. You gotta have like guys here like this. But unfortunately, the tanks are were supposed to be in the middle. I believe they were like in the back or somewhere in town, but they were like mid rotation trying to play for like a repush on A. And repushing A, I think it's hard if you're not already playing for it. Like in order to repush the ruins, you need to be really, really smart either with your timing or the way that you structure the push. And unfortunately, Moon just didn't really have that. They didn't even bother going for the ruins. They just went down for the ditch to try to kill I think it was Ghost down here. And by the time that they killed him, they were just getting shot from everywhere. So the guys sitting up here have shots on this ditch. The guys, if you play like anywhere in this general area, you're going to have an open angle to just shoot this. And then don't forget as well, if you have like a tank in the ruins, this play right here, you are just going to be free farms for whoever's going to be in the ruins. They can just like play a bit up to try to like counter your exit, or they can like try to like play like here. And if you're a bit far up towards here, trying to stay like hole down as possible against this and this, you are just going to get farmed up the rear. So I'd say Moon, they didn't necessarily I don't think they played terrible. They were able to equalize trades. It's just the weakness of North Spawn. They just didn't really have many options to play for. So Vineyards in a nutshell is try to win the North Spawn if you can. If you can't, try to go 1-1 once you get the South Spawn. And then I think the next map was Rockfield. So Rockfield, we saw an early B grab, and I believe the setup on the side of Seven Rats is something like this. I think they had a tank here or something like that. Forget exactly what the where the other heavy was, and then maybe something like this. And then light tank was spotting on top of A. And then on the south side, so I think Moon had something kind of similar, but they had a bit more guys, like, play up on A or play up on the C side. They had a heavy here, I think there was maybe a guy floating around this general area over here, and then they had bunch of guys just try to play, like, here. I think there was a guy here, maybe one guy up here, if I remember correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then one more guy, I don't really know where they were. Let's just put them, like, floating, like somewhere here. So this setup, it's I'd say from Seven Rats, it's a bit more structured. You have a bit more coverage over each other. On the side of Moon, you are playing a bit kind of split still, but still playing for Seaside. I'd say that the early cap on B got completely unpunished because this guy's job here is to reset this guy, but you can't even peek as long as you're being opposed, which he was being opposed. I think it was Ghost who was playing here. So these positions kind of nullify each other, which means that the guy in B is just he just gets out for free. Oh wait, sorry. It was a Hori, not a heavy tank if I remember correctly. It was a Hori and he was farming. I don't remember the exact position. Let's put him on TD hill for lack of a better position. And I'm not sure if there was a guy even driving towards A. Maybe there was. Maybe he was like hanging back a bit. I don't know. We'll just keep him floating here for now. But this guy in B, he's very safe. He doesn't get reset at all unless, say, they had the light tank maybe play up onto C and then peek from the top to reset this guy. But even then, I'm almost certain that Seven Rats would have anticipated that kind of play if the light tank spotted absolutely nothing going towards the A side. So light tank, he bleeds a shot from this guy and then this guy. So good double tap. And then unfortunately, he was just like ineffective for the rest of the game. And the play that the Moon team eventually made, where they took a three-man rotation to try to play for the top. And then I'm not sure if they played any tanks down low. All I remember was that I'll keep one tank floating here for now. All I remember is that they sent three guys towards A, and then they sent two guys up on C. And I'm not going to talk about the A brawl because I wasn't really there to witness it. But on C side, what we saw was a two tank rotation, so something like this, and then light tank going yeah, like here. So I think the light tank on the side of Moon was one far too overextended. He could have done a better job at getting a better spotting angle, and then two, he once he died, this guy kind of just hung himself to die as well. Instead of like, I think in hindsight, he did make, I would argue, the best possible play for the team. It's just that he needed a bit more help. Trying to go for the one-on-one on the C cap is fine as long as you can one get the kill and then two guarantee the cap. But by the time this guy died, it was basically over for the C brawl. This guy was gonna die regardless. So even if he backs up and buys time, that means Seven Rats wins. So he needs to actually go in and try to get the kill, try to get the cap. So he was between like a rock and a hard place, basically. So I don't really blame him for making the play that he eventually did. So bit of an interesting refresh. Not sure what happened there. And we'll see when the next set of games starts, actually. So let me just quickly switch back to my Blitz. Gonna be seeing Small Dog versus So Predictable in about 23 minutes. So in the meantime, if I want to show some gameplay, probably be best for me to switch to my iPad. So let me actually switch to my iPad real quick, just because I'm a bit more comfortable playing on mobile than I am on PC. So let me just quickly swap to that. And also, what's up, guys? I didn't check the YouTube chat, but I see reaction. What's up? Gentlemen, what's up? Work ethic, what's up? Lakami, what's up? 34 Watt B, what's up? N13, what's up? Akame, what's up? And we do see bit of yapping going on in my chat, but thankfully nothing terrible. So Akame, when is your next blindfold stream? Interesting. I didn't know that Kamiya would ever do such a thing. Alright, in the meantime, I am on mobile now. This is my preferred platform. Alright, my iPad is charging. So, let's play some games in the meantime, I guess. So, what do I want to play? I guess Vickers. So, Vickers is a good light tank. It's got hash. It's got decent DPM, I'd say. And we got mines. Unfortunately, we got the bad spawn of mines. The south spawn of mines is just a lot better. Also, I don't know why mines is still a map in pubs, but whatever. We'll deal with it. The reason why I say that is just because I feel like at tier 10, you should just have like a large map. Just because mines is so small, like having tier 10 tanks on a map like this, it just kind of restricts like the potentials that you can do in this map. And I do see that tree get knocked down, and I don't know what exactly that is. Oof.
Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy is hit.
So I am putting in some good headshots into this Kron, but unfortunately my team is kind of just sitting in the back a bit. They're letting this Kron peek very aggressive on me, which is a bit unfortunate, and this E4 also wants me as well. Fortunately, he bounces, so I can now aggressively peek on their heavies in the middle. And I do have a good enough DPM, so I can go for another shot before I have to eventually drive forwards. And I do bait another shot from the E4, so that's pretty good for me. I do want to focus out this Yo, and now I have the attention of the E5 as well. And fortunately, this guy does want to play up on me, and I don't really have the pen to really deal with this E4. So I'll see if I can maybe... Oh, I do pen that somehow, so I guess I'm just a gamer. Putting in some good shots. Slowly but surely I will win the top side for my team. It's just a matter of when. So I try to go for these quick corner peeks because I know he's probably running a 2-shot Yo, which means he's going to game on me if I give him a bit of a shot. So I'm just not really going to peek that. And I can't pen the patch of the E4 because this gun doesn't have the best penetration. And unfortunately, he's just going to sit there and pre-aim me, which is a bit annoying. But it means that I just have to try to reset my camo and try to go for a different angle on their heavy tanks. And unfortunately, he does hit that shot off on me, which is very annoying, I have to say. And I believe I can get this kill on the Yo, which would be really good for my team. And I do get the kill on the Yo. I want to bait out another shot from this guy, but I know that he's not really going to give it to me, which is a bit unfortunate. And I try to go for the shot on the Kron, but unfortunately the E4 or the E5 kind of blocks it. And I need this Kron to just back up a little bit more. Nah. Unfortunately, I bounced that, which is no bueno. So I just want to bait out another shot from this guy. Oh my god, nah, this guy kind of won them the game. It's because he just left me ineffective here, so I wasn't able to even put in... Okay, I can maybe clutch this up. I have to get a track shot on this guy, no other option. And I bounced. Oh, GG. Unfortunate. But my team kind of threw that a little bit. I don't know if they were suppressing or putting in good shots, but they kind of just let all their heavy tanks just peek towards the middle. And that's kind of why I don't like mines, just because if your team doesn't try to match the enemy team at the hill, you just lose the game. And it doesn't really seem like my team did much. Like, look at these heavies, was 48%, 0 damage, and I mean, this guy's a good player. He's above 50%, but he did 1 shot of damage, so I'm not sure what happened to him. Bit unfortunate, but it is pubs. I don't really care about pubs. In my opinion, the highest level of gameplay is tournaments. If you are trying to get better at the game, you shouldn't really try to see how much damage you can do in pubs. You shouldn't really see how many games you can win in pubs. Although I would say that higher win rate is I'd say, a better indicator for me in terms of if you are a good player or not compared to average damage. But I do think the metric that will discern, for me at least, between a good player and one of the best players is whether they play competitive at the highest level or not. So I want to put in a blind shot there. And it doesn't seem like the Progetto is spotting much crossing, so I'm just going to preemptively run away because I don't want to get caught out if they send guys towards the A-cap. So, a bit of a weird game, I'd say. I do get spotted there, which is a bit unfortunate. And thankfully, I do get a bit of good timing, just because the enemy team have stepped A, which means that they did have guys who crossed without getting spotted, which isn't good for me, but again, I wasn't sitting at my initial spotting point, so I didn't really get caught out or punished for it, so that's pretty good. In the meantime, I am just gonna sit here and try to put in more shots into this Batchat, maybe kill the Batchat even. If not kill the Batchat, I do want to maybe put in some more farm shots into the tanks sitting here, and I do get a good track shot on the Sturv, but unfortunately these guys towards the middle are pre-aiming, but thankfully I am able to get out, not getting shot at, so that is good, that is good. And I do want to try to get an angle on the Sturv on A, because I believe he should be crossfireable if he is still peeking his position. And I guess he just decided now to back up, which makes me want to try to re-push towards A, like try to play up with my teammate over here. And it does look like the Sturv is playing a bit more passive, so I do think that this re-push on A is the correct maneuver. So I'm going to make this play, and also, because of how the enemy team is being pushed into the river, as long as I pressure up on A, I should have really good crossfire on them in the river. So you'll see me try to go for the shots on the Batchat here. And I'm going to try a peek for this kill on the Sturv. Do get this kill on the Sturv, and now this Batchat should be easy farm for me. And he is now a one shot. I should be able to pick him up, and nice, my teammate actually does instead. I'm going to put one shot into the 205B, and now I'm going to try to drive as fast as possible to the other guy. Try to go for a gamer shot. Unfortunately didn't hit, but that's okay. I should have the rear of this Waffen, who isn't running small liner at all, which is really good farm for me. I'm going to try to get a ram, try to do a bit more damage, try to push him out into open for my teammates, and that's GG. Well played. Yo. Hello, Riker Shem. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Hope you've had a wonderful night. And looking at the time, I believe I have enough time for maybe 2 more pub games. So let's try to get these games in. Let's hope that they're good games. Alright. We are on Mayan. This is... it's a good map in my opinion. I like this map a lot. Especially in competitive. I feel like Mayan is it's a classic map, I'd say. There's no, like, significant spawn imbalances, and it's just a fun map to play, I'd say. A lot of potentials for rotations or brawls, and unfortunately I'm going to eat a really big shell from these meds, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I have this position here, and I really need my team to play up to help me out. And unfortunately, my team is just sitting, which I strongly dislike. I am not a fan of people who just sit, especially when we see that they have tanks on A, we can easily take this fight over here on this side very easily. Unfortunately, I am still taking a lot of shots.
Enemy is hit.
And I am getting ricochet penned. Okay, this is not fun for me. Not fun for me whatsoever. I really need my team to move. They need to push. If we don't push, we are going to lose this game. And I really need this guy to HP share from me, but he's just not, and I'm just going to die. Okay, very cool, bro. Okay, yeah. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. My team kind of just sat back while I was in an advanced position, just watching me die, which is a little unfortunate. I could have also not peeked and maybe tried to run away after seeing them just hang back, but I expected them to just play up a bit more with me, especially when I saw the Sheridan move up with me. I would have anticipated that he would have tried to help me, and I did think he was going to go side on to try HP share, but nah, he just decided to let me die, which is a little unfortunate, a little selfish of him. So I'm going to try to play a different tank. Maybe the KPZ will treat me a bit better, and maybe we'll be seeing this tank actually later tonight on the side of Oblivion. So I know for a fact that Ranger, the Caller of Oblivion, he likes this tank a lot. He thinks it's fast, it's got a punchy gun, and I do think, you know, I do agree objectively that it's fast, it's got a punchy gun, but I'm not sure how good it will be in competitive. And we do see, or we might see tonight, that Oblivion will run some interesting tanks. They like to test the meta a bit. So I'm excited to see some crazy lineups. Maybe we'll see crazier lineups, assuming that Oblivion are able to go to day 3 of the arena tournament. But I do hope to see some KPZs later tonight, maybe very, very shortly after this game. So I'm going to be driving towards the seaside, try to see if I can get a strong angle, and because of how the Sheridan is playing, I'm just going to play very aggressively. I just want to see how much map I can take before I have to inevitably stop, because just the way that the Sheridan is so far on the other side, I can just play up over here. I think I should be pretty safe. I'm actually going to put in a shot towards that side. Maybe that hit, maybe it didn't. And in the meantime, just try to take up as much of the map as I can for my team, because if we take a look, we have a guy in the first sector of the map, over here, this Rose guy, and even though he's just like sitting in spawn, and I kind of got scammed there, like very scammed. That was, I mean, granted I could have aimed it a bit better, but just unfortunately I just am not able to get that shot to pen at all, and I'm not sure what shot me back there. It's 374, so it makes me want to think maybe like an NC, just considering the fact that I wasn't able to spot him in return. Yeah. Not sure what that is. I know for a fact it can't be the 57, probably the NC, I'd have to guess, if anything. Let's see where he's penning me. Like, can even see the penetration. Like, he penned me through my mantlet, which is kind of crazy. Okay, just aim, aim, aim. And unfortunately, I kind of got scammed there. I probably could have aimed for the tracks, but also my team on the other side of the map is just dying, which is a little bit unfortunate for me. I need to be cognizant of any potential crossfire, but looks like this is going to be a loss just because of how slow our side, our flank is going to take. So ideally we have this 5A, just try to back out by a bit of time, and it was a NC who was shooting me, so my suspicions were right about that. I want to try to put shots into this guy here. Okay, never mind. I was trying to put in shots to help the other guy, but I was just sitting for a bit too long. I should have just been farming. Unfortunately, I think this is going to be a loss, but there's really not much I can do in this circumstance, just because I feel like my team on the other side of the map, like, they took a bit, or they just died. That's really all. That's really it. Let's see if I can maybe get a kill on this guy here. I mean, it's playable, I just don't think it's winnable. So as long as this 113 is able to get out safe, I think it's still playable. unfortunately, I'm gonna get pushed by this Type 71 and the Sturv, so I'm gonna try to find a very strong pocket that I can just play around the corner with. And unfortunately, I bounced the corner of the Type, which really sucks. That's not a shot that I think should have bounced. He gets a ricochet pen, which is hilarious. I'm not shooting the Type, I'd rather shoot the side of that guy. A bit of an unfortunate set of games. I do feel like I could have won a couple of them, but let down by the teams, unfortunately, as is the case with a lot of games in this, or a lot of matches in this game. And I believe it's gonna be close to the room going up time, so I'm gonna switch back to PC. Let me just quickly do that. Let me quickly log in to my account because apparently I forgot the password, which is weird. All right, I'm back in, boys. Room should be up very, very shortly. Hopefully I can... Hopefully I'll get the invite anytime now. Ah, there it is. Awesome. All right, sick. So we are going to be watching... Let me just... I don't want to show like the tank lineups this early on, especially since my delay isn't 5 minutes, which is the initial timer for when you join the room. My stream delay is about 3 minutes. So I don't want to like reveal like a lineup that early on, but we'll seek Yukon, Canal, and Oasis Palms. So let me see let me see where my strat sketch is. Also, let me get the scoreboard up. Let me edit this real quick. Score 0-0. Not 0-30, holy. 0-0. Oblivion versus 7 Rats. Alright, that looks good. Now, in the meantime, let's switch to strat sketch. So, boom, here we are. And we are on Yukon. So let me swap to Yukon real quick. So Yukon, this is a huge map. I do like this map. It's just that I didn't like it initially in its initial release date because when it was first released into the game, this map had an interesting cap tick rate. So whenever you cap a base in Supremacy, usually each tick is supposed to net you 3 points per tick per cap. But Yukon was a bit of a unique map where it actually increased by about 5 points compared to the 3 that's it is today. So in the initial release of Yukon, a lot of the time it would just go down to caps. So not even playing for brawls, you just play for caps, and I found that really annoying. That kind of playstyle annoying, and I hated that you kind of had to play by that whenever you played Yukon in its initial release date. But thankfully, they did reduce the cap point gain per tick for Yukon, which is good now. So it is 3 points per tick, but a lot of the time, what you'll see is that teams will generally try to go for their close cap. So on south spawn, you'll try to grab C. On north spawn, you'll try to grab B. And then whether you go to like say D or go for A, or maybe from the other side, you go from the A from north or you go to D from south, really depends on the strat that each team is going to run. And sometimes you might not even see a cap play at all nowadays. There are some very interesting plays where you just might see just YOLOs. So what I mean by YOLOs is that you might see an interesting play where on North Spawn you could see like a bum rush to catch out tanks capping C on the south side. So, like, say a team tries to send one tank into C very early to try to grab the base, get cap advantage while sending all 6 guys towards D. You might see, like, say, like a town YOLO where you just immediately on north side, the north team will just YOLO into C, try to catch out a tank for free and get a free kill. And then the guys at D are forced to play 6v7, which isn't very easy to play out of unless you are able to, say, trade and equalize a bit of HP just to make things easier. And then on the south side, in terms of aggressive pushes, there are some interesting ideas that I've seen, but I'd say that south spawn is a bit trickier to make an aggressive push on, because if you try to play for, say, an analogous maneuver, like say where you're able to push the C cap from north spawn, like either through this lane, or like a similar pinch idea. If you try to do something similar from the south spawn, try to push like from here, or let me change the color of my ping. So try to push from like here, or like push through town like this. It's just a little bit difficult, I'd say. And the main thing that kind of stops a full push like this or like this is this bush here. Um, you're very, very safe. You will also spot any push going through here or going through here. So these two lanes kind of get suppressed by this one guy alone over here. And then if you try to play all the way up, oop, it looks like my game is starting. So let me end the yap session. Let me see what these Oblivion guys are up to. So we're going to be seeing triple concepts, a mouse, an M4, Ranger in the VZ55, and of course the light tank player on Oblivion, Dizzy, playing the Vickers. On the other side, we're going to be seeing two G-Swords. So I don't think this tank has made an appearance yet, but these G-Swords seem like they're going to be playing towards like either the D corner or like this like intermediate position that kind of overlooks D itself. So like this hill right here, it kind of looks over like the D cap area, and we do see that Dizzy in the light tank is going to go to the D corner, grab an early advantage for the team of Oblivion, while we do see early cap, like I said, from the team of 7rats, where they send 1116 into the C cap. And we do see Akame in the mouse. He looks like he's going to be making a very aggressive play early on, where he's going to try to bomb through the middle of the map and try to maybe pinch out these prawns. And we do see good crossfire from the side of Oblivion, where they're able to take 2 bleed shots into Ghost, put two well-placed shots by Mystickler and N13. It does look like Dizzy in the far corner is also able to bleed out Ghost, and we do see Ranger doing a bit of an aggressive play where he's going from the low ground, which could actually get him nuked a bit, but as long as his team is with them, I believe that they're just going to make a push and try to pinch out the 2 Krons over here, because Akame does have an angle on the far right side of the Krons, while these 2 concepts are just going to pressure from the top. And now we're going to see Ranger pressure from the bottom. He's going to probably put it in a clip into the 2 G-Swords, and these G-Swords, if they go for Ranger, it's probably going to be able to equalize kills, but it's not, it can be a little too late, just because they already lost effectively 2 Krons by the time they're able to pick up one, and the G-Swords aren't even able to really go for Ranger. Ranger just backs up, and he has backup from his team as well, and King Ghidorah is going to fall very shortly. In the middle, we do see Akame, who was able to absorb a bit of the brunt of the repush from the side of 7rats, and he is still alive. He is still putting in effective shots. Elemental does look like he's going to line up the kill. Unfortunately, he bounces. The mouse is a bit hard to pen for the 116, and we see Group is getting crossfired a little bit, but he's able to stay alive. He does get the kill onto Black Viper. Well played from Group, and we're going to see Quebec in a 1v2 with, or sorry, a 2v6 with Elemental, but it's not going to, this is going to be a win for Oblivion. What am I saying? Kind of tripping over my own words. We're going to see Gruxup and Dizzy, the dynamic duo, just go for a 2v1 against Quebec, and Group does pick up the kill on Quebec, and this is a 7-1 victory for Oblivion. Well played from these guys. So, a couple things to note is that very early on, Oblivion were just able to find a very small weakness, I would say, in the hold that 7rats had. So, Ghost, upon bleeding 2 shots, had to play a bit more passively. And then Oblivion, they realized very early on that they sent their light tank to the D corner. They spotted not very much, just 2 G-Swords covering the wide angle of the 2 Krons. And they're just like, okay, we have a mouse in mid who can just YOLO through the middle, try to open up an angle and just eat shots as soon as Seven Rats tries to make a repush. Let's just take our numerical advantage on D side and destroy them before they can try to counter push us. And by the time that the Seven Rats team tried to make a counterplay onto a Kami in the middle, which is also, by the way, a mouse, he is meant to die there. They lost, like, I believe it was 2 to 3 tanks, so they lost 2 concepts, or not 2 concepts, 2 Krons and a G-Sword. And then Oblivion had a bunch of tanks lined up for kills, and they were just able to clean up the rest of the game. So well played from them. Very quick capitalization of a very small weakness that they noticed very early on. So good push from them. And we'll see if Seven Rats is able to bring this back. I do see the first KPZs of the night, which I was expecting to see on the side of Oblivion, but it looks like they want to run, I would argue, a bit of a slower lineup with 2 Felices and a Type 5 Heavy. So I'm wondering if these Felices are going to play a bit more aggressive in, say, like the town area with the Type 5, or if we're going to see some crazy, like, maybe like a boost or something with the Type 5 pushing a tank up or something. I'm not sure. I'm excited to see what the Oblivion guys are going to do. We're actually also going to see a 113 on the side of Seven Rats, and 113, it's not a bad tank, it's just, I didn't really expect to see one here, so we'll see, we'll see. And in terms of where each team is going, let me see how high up I can go. It looks like Oblivion is going to be going a bit aggressive towards the A side, and we do see a lot of Seven Rats are going towards the middle, and it does look like they could be making, say, like an early play onto the C, but it looks like the Type 5 Ranger is going to be ready to intercept and ready to punish this play. And he does put a very well-played shot, 711, well played to you, good shot. And it does look like these KPZs are getting caught out, and it doesn't look like that Quebec has any repair kits, and he just gets turbo-tracked in the open. Clean kill for the side of Oblivion. Well played from these guys for getting the Crossfire, getting their shots, and Black Viper kind of looks like he's just giving up here. I mean, it looks like he's perma-tracked, but I'm not sure, and it seems like Ranger has 3 guys going for him, and this is not really the correct play to do. This Ranger wants these 3 tanks to go for him, because it means that they're not going to be going into the main brawl, and Rangers is going to be able to waste a bit more time. He puts a massive 700 shell into the rear of Elemental, and he does have good crossfire from N13 and Group, so they are able to cover him just a little bit, do a better job at checking out his HP for a bit more of the Seven Rats HP. And we do see in the middle, Oblivion are cleaning up. They pick up the kill on Splinter Goblin. Elemental does pick up Gentleman, but it's a bit too little too late. If you look at the HP, Oblivion, they're 5,000 HP up. It is a 5v3, and Ghost, Elemental, and Chowoso, they are chasing Akame, who is going to be shortly able to back up the ramp, and Chowoso will be able to eventually pick the kill, but it's not going to win them the game. Mystickler and Dizzy are going to slowly work on Ghost, and this is going to be very shortly GG for Oblivion. So, very quick 2-0, and I need to adjust the score real quick. Hold on. So, quick 2-0 from Oblivion, not 3-0, 2-0 on the side of Oblivion. Maybe Yukon is not Seven Rats' map, maybe Yukon is a very strong Oblivion map, but well played to these guys. Alright, so just looking at the damage spread, Kame doing top damage, which is a pretty common sight to see. Dizzy also near the top, a very common sight to see as well. Ranger, usually you see him at the bottom, but for some reason, Seven Rats decided to still push for him, even though they should have just tried to win the main brawl. Just let the Type 5 be kind of useless sitting in spawn. And unfortunately, we do see Quebec and Black Viper, they kind of just got caught in that position. Like, the KPZ is fast, but I guess they weren't anticipating all those Oblivion guns to kind of be pre-aiming down that lane. But maybe Ranger, after seeing the 3 tanks push him in that single lane, maybe he was calling out to his team, yo, guys, they're going to try to make a play onto C-Cap. Can you guys look to cross-red the guys who are going to path through town? That was probably what was going through his mind. And we're going to see something crazy from Oblivion. Ranger in the E4, what the... This is crazy. Okay, I am going to spectate Ranger. I'm going to keep a close eye on Ranger. We're seeing an even crazier lineup, actually. I see Karo, so, like, Akami and Dizzy and the RHMs. Like, sure, RHM is a meta light tank, but Karos, we're seeing Gruxup, Mysticler, and N13. The Karos, this is crazy. And on the other side, we see something crazy as well. We see triple Karo on the side of Seven Rats, a 4005, and an RHM. I mean, granted, the map is Canal, which is a very large map, and that's actually probably why we're seeing these crazy lineups. So I'm actually very excited to spectate this game. I hope to see either the 4005 or Ranger in the E4 get some crazy shots off. So let's see how these guys are able to play their tanks. Let's see what they're able to do with them. My game load? Yes, it will. Alright, so I really want to see this guy Ranger right here. Let me see exactly what he's going to do. We're not even going to go into the air. I want to see what this guy can see in this beautiful tank of his. So, as anticipated, we do see both teams going to the D side of the map, and it seems like Canal did get slightly reworked, and Ranger puts in a gamer blind shot. Very well played from him. Okay, that is more than enough that I'm willing to see. So, well played from Ranger. His tank is worth it. He is not doing 0 damage today, and we do see a very quick crossing shootout from the side of Oblivion, where they are able to outtrade 7 Rats, and they are still outtrading 7 Rats. N13 well played shot into Black Viper, and it does look like eventually Oblivion are just going to take this push into the D side. They're just going to go and try to kill these cars, because Chooso and Black Viper, these guys are bled out, these guys are trapped, these guys are kills, and Oblivion slowly but surely are going to group up with tanks for this push. They have Gentleman who's actually going to look for shots on Ghost, which I don't think is the correct move. I think you should just ignore Ghost, try to go for the brawl on to the D side, and maybe they don't even need to go for the push, because slowly but surely these guys are just bleeding out the 7 Rats tanks. And Oblivion, they have barely lost more than, say, in total 2,000 HP, while on the other side, it seems like 7 Rats have bled, I'd say maybe like 5,600 HP. I'm not exactly sure how much they started with. And Quebec on the other side of the map, maybe he should do a better job at counting tanks, but he should realize very early on, like very soon, that he should be able to have that whole side to himself. And he should be opening up a new angle instead of just sitting in the back and waiting for like something to happen. But the only thing that's going to happen on the other side is that his team is going to die, and they pick up Ghost, they pick up King Ghidorah, and it looks like Black Viper and Chooso is leaving next. But oh, Elemental gets nuked right in front of my eyes, and I wasn't able to see how much HP he lost. And all of a sudden, it just turned from 77 to 73, and the 4005 is going to be the next up on the list as soon as Chooso falls. And it does look like these Karos are going to be lining up the 4005, and the 4005 is standing on the other side. We have Quebec, who's just still sitting in the same spot, not even opening up another angle, and looks like Quebec's just completely given up, trying to ram into Dizzy. And does Ranger get the kill? Does he go get the kill? He does not get the kill. Ranger does not get the kill. Thank God. Well played to Oblivion, though. What a gamer of a lineup that was, and how beautifully they were able to play. So Ranger put in a crazy blind shot into the crossing. He has the timing on point. That was probably the best play I saw from him tonight, and we do see immediately the match for the lower brackets. So the winner of this matchup will face Oblivion again in the grand finals, I believe, and then the loser will get third place. And just again, looking at this damage spread, they were only able to do less than 6,000 damage, and Ghost doing 0 damage in the IS4. Bit unfortunate, and I can't even give him a reaction. Oh, I can give him reaction. I think he needs a hug right now, so I'm gonna give him a heart. And on the other side, we have Ranger doing top damage. This is a rare sight, and I'm gonna give you a lucky player. That is very, very rare to see. Usually you would see like Gentleman. He is like the farmer on Oblivion. Usually you would see him at least above Ranger. So well played to Oblivion there, and I'd say that game, 7 Rats just bled to death. Simple as that. And Quebec in the light tank, who is on the off angle, just alone towards like the C-Cap, he could have maybe opened up a play, maybe like try to crossfire out Ranger, try to like get him off the crossfire angle on the D side, but he was just sitting there. He wasn't counting tanks at all. If he did a better job or even a job at counting tanks, he would have realized that all 7 tanks are spotted on the map and they're all like 6 of them are at D and one of them is like creeping in the middle just looking for cross shots on my team. Maybe I should try to open up a new angle because repushing D is not possible at that point. You just need to try your best to, one, if you are like already committed on D, you just gotta not bleed, and then 2, you just gotta try to cover the guys who are eventually gonna get repushed on D. So a bit unfortunate that we saw 7 Rats just bleed to death on D side, but I gotta say, crazy game to watch from Oblivion. Ranger, I'm surprised he was able to make the E4 work, but he did make the E4 work, so well played to you, buddy. And then in the meantime, we are going to see... Who are we going to see, actually? So that's Grand Finals. We're going to see Moon rematch against 7 Rats. So... yeah, so we're going to see this game. It's going to be Goldville, Faust, and Wintermal. Let's see how much time left I have for the set. Also, I need to quickly update the score. It's 3-0. Actually, I mean, this next set is starting, so I'll do Moon versus 7 Rats, and then reset the score. Alright. Let's see how much time we have left for maybe a quick strat sketch. So, oh my god, I forgot the maps. Bro, I think I have, like, dementia at, like, the age of 20-something. LOL. I am cooked. My brain is cooked. Black Goldville, Faust, Wintermal. Okay, let's see if I can pull up my strat sketch really quickly. Let me make sure that I readied up as well. Okay, I've readied up. Oops. I mean, it's fine to show this lineup. So, maybe for the sake of time, I won't go through all the positions and stuff, but I'll just try to read the lineups and maybe give a quick analysis and maybe quick prediction of where I think each team is going to play. Double concepts, 116, Kron, 116. So this could either be playing up towards the A side or playing a bit of a strong like hold through like the middle of the map. Maybe try to like have guys like covering the middle, have guys at B reset angles, and then try to play for like A. And on the other side, we could see something kind of similar, I'd say. Maybe with the Karo and RHM, they'd be playing faster towards A. Or we could even see potential for like the RHM to play A first and then rotate C. And then maybe this Felice. Not sure where this Felice is going to be. Could be maybe town or like playing for B. So we'll see. A lot of this Moon team I've noticed they're on PC. So I mean I'll be honest, with introducing PC to competitive on NA, it's bolstered the player base a lot. So I'm all for having newer players be, you know, in NA comp. It's just that I want to see like more people come in because still NA is a very small server in terms of the competitive scene. And let's see where these Moon guys are gonna go. Just double checking up on the YouTube chat. What's up Dizzy? What's up Takefusa? And what's up Kujis? Welcome to the stream. So we see a lot of blind shots go down the middle, and if you don't know, you can actually hit one of those blind shots if you are lucky, but unfortunately, maybe fortunately, we didn't see any of that. And we do see a quick double B grab by the side of 7 Rats, where they are trying to step 2 116s onto B cap, and they have their Kron Bond in positions to try to suppress the resetting Kron. So we see Nemo getting shot by King Ghidorah. He is getting shot by the guys Captain B. And Nemo, he isn't going to try to step or try to get a reset shot anymore. And we actually do see a very good shot from the Carl into Nemo. Nemo is just going to slowly bleed if he doesn't stay there, or if he stays there. But fortunately, the Carl Elemental does have good game sense. He notices that Moon is capping the A base and that they are probably going to have more tanks on the cave side. So he is running away at a really good time. And Turdy, I'd say Turdy is making somewhat of a good play. Like, trying to hold this is good, but he might get caught out just the position that he is at. And these concepts, I would argue, are going to be hold down against him, and they might be able to just out-trade him, and they are putting in good shots. So Inferno puts in a well-placed shot, but I guess that's it as far as it goes for fleeting shots. And King Ghidorah does get spotted out in the open. He is getting perma-tracked, and he is tracked out in the open. He is eating so many shots for this. Well played from the side of Moon, and he is going to burn to death. He might die to this fire. He is going to survive on 73 HP, but his tank is effectively just out of the game. Well played, well timed from Moon, getting the spot on King Ghidorah as he tried to make a bit of a short rotation out. And I would say King Ghidorah is going to be a very quick kill target if Moon decides to try to push and try to get to this position here where they tried to oppose Ghost, and then they were able to put a shot into King Ghidorah, because King Ghidorah, he can't back up. He's going to get shot by the Moon tanks that are in spawn, and it seems like Moon is trying to make a bit of a counterplay on C, but it's just 1-1-1-6, and he's completely alone against a RHM Panzerwagen. And in this circumstance, the Panzerwagen is just going to wait for another teammate to try to help, and Jay Miguel is going to slowly bleed to death, and he's eventually going to be a kill for the 116, and it seems like Moon have just hung Jay Miguel to die here, which is really unfortunate because they have a bit of initiative on the bleeds that they got in King Ghidorah. They could have pushed spawn instead of sending this guy alone on C. Maybe they could have made the play on spawn first before they send the guy onto C, but it looks like that this guy is going to die. Jay Miguel is going to die. He falls, and now we do see Moon try to make a bit of counterplay into the middle of town, but unfortunately Nemo is just getting completely caught out, and Turdy is going to have the kill shot for him. He is going to dump his reserve shell for the kill on Nemo. Turdy, he is aiming for that shell. He's going to wait for his next shell. Good Clipper management discipline right there. And Moon, it does look like they were able to go for the kill on Ghost, but it's a bit too little, too late, and they are up on the HP. It is 5v4 actually, and unfortunately they don't have control of caps at all, and it's 990 points and 1,000 win for 7 Rats. But I have to say it is very close for Moon. Moon was close to winning that, but the play they had to make there was just push enemy spawn from A side. The way they sent a guy alone onto C, they just hung a tank for free. He had absolutely no help. That play alone just threw the game because they just gave them a free kill. They equalized a gun for a gun effectively. King Ghidorah, this guy bled out like so much HP for absolutely free for Moon. All they had to do was just play to pressure Ghost and then pressure King Ghidorah, because King Ghidorah was just trapped at where he was. Once they pick up 2 kills, maybe the repush onto Seaside would have been a bit better, because then maybe the light tank and the guy in town who was looking towards like the sea crossing, maybe they would have been more inclined to maybe look back towards their spawn to try to support, maybe put in Crossfire, which would open up another opportunity for a C play. But I think that C play, just going alone with Jay Miguel, even though he did like a clip or 5 shots worth of damage, it just wasn't a good play. He went alone. He should have had at least one more guy to help him out if he was going to make that play. So a bit of a misplay on Moon. I think Moon would have won that if they just, 1, push spawn, and then 2, just didn't hang a tank. They had every advantage there. And we're going to see a bit of an interesting lineup from the side of 7 Rats, where 7 Rats are going to be running a 268 and a Type 5 Heavy. So we did see a Type 5 Heavy earlier, played by Ranger, but Ranger played a position that was supposed to be a bait. He wanted them to push. I'm not sure if there's going to be a similar position that Ghost plays, or a similar role and position that Ghost is going to want to try to fulfill using his Type 5 Heavy. Maybe he's going to try to play for, say, like a resetting angle in town, or maybe he's going to just step B or something. I'm not sure what the Type 5 is going to do on Black Goldville, but the 268, I'm more than certain the 268 is just going to sit and spawn and just try to cover an angle. And we do see double Horis on the side of Moon. Very interesting selection. and we'll see how effective these double Horis are. And I just want to note that with double Horis and a light tank on the side of Moon, this is not an easy lineup to push with if they decide to, if they are going to be down on caps. And we do see a bit of blind fires go down the lane, and we do see Ghost does get hit by one of them. He loses his tracks to one of those shells, and we're gonna see maybe Kins is going. Okay, Kins is not going to the B cap. I thought he was driving down this lane to try to step B early, but I misjudged it. Also, my camera work is terrible right now. It seems like Moon is gonna go for a bit of map control, where there's keeping double Horis kind of aiming down, one towards the C crossing and then one towards the B cap, while the rest of their team is playing A. Quebec does get early information and he is running out very smart, but it seems like Seven Rats are going to have the cap advantage despite the Moon team making a very early play onto A base with their heavies. And if you are Moon here, I would probably just cap the base and then just try to cover B, because you see that Ghost is going into B, and it looks like the Hori was unfortunately bouncing a shell onto the Type 5, which is a bit unfortunate because the point of the Hori is just to pen the shots, get resets, and here we might see King Ghidorah. He might get caught out if the Moon team is going to cover him, but unfortunately they're not covering him, and I think King Ghidorah should have been punished at the position that he's at, but I guess everybody else is just busy looking towards B. So I think these guys up top here had shots on King Ghidorah, but they just didn't really put shots at all. And we see that these double Horis that Seven Rats are pushing into are doing a bit of good work trying to bleed out and farm off of Kins, but Kins is slowly going to die here. If the Ghosts and Canna Cricket just go for a bit of an aggressive play down the lane and try to kill Kins, he is going to be a free pickup for Seven Rats. And these Horis aren't going to be really doing enough, and unfortunately, by the time that they decide to make that play that I suggested, they're just already bleeding way too much. The Horis have already farmed 2 shots on the Type 5. They're about to farm a 3rd shot. And even though Kins dies, I would say this is actually very good for Moonkeys because they have a Type 5 who is about to die. Nemo does pick him up, and they have King Ghidorah, who's a bit super far out, a bit isolated. If the Horis counter push King Ghidorah, he is going to die, and they're going to win a bit of high ground to try to shoot into the town and shoot into Canna Cricket, who's in the B cap, as well as shoot into Turdy. And we do see a bit of a counter push into the spawn side of Seven Rats by the RHM and King's in the concept. And I believe that these guys are going to be able to pick up the kill on the 260 and the RHM. And we do see a quick pickup on the RHM by Jay Miguel. Very well played from you. Even if he dies, it is okay. He was able to isolate a light tank, and he's able to win the red lane wide angle brawl for his team. And very well played shot into the guy in mid by, I believe it was, okay, I'm not sure. But this is going to be a win for Moon as long as these Horis do not do a generational throw. This should be a very quick win. Invierno is doing a good job at getting around the corner, and his teammate as well, Nemo, is doing a good job at hitting the 116, preventing him from getting all the way through. And Invierno does get tracked. He might die here actually to the short clip from Elemental, but even so, Moon are stepping all bases. They are capping everything, and it is 3v2. And this is going to be a very quick or a very short win for the team of Moon. So well played to Moon. Well played to Moon. I'm going to quickly adjust the score real quick just because I already know this is going to be a win for you guys. Well played, well played, well played. The Ranger slander is crazy from the chat. I'm not sure about that. I feel like if you ask your teammates Ranger, I feel like they would agree with me. So 34 watt B crazy Ranger comments? Not really, honestly, not really. This guy has a track record of getting blown up a lot. And that is factual. He does get blown up a lot. So I think in this circumstance, Ghost doing 0 damage in Type 5 Heavy, that's not what you want to see. And he did exactly what I thought he'd be doing, where he just drove into B, but then again, why drive a Type 5 if you just want to drive into B? Why not just play a 116? You have better speed, you have a clip. I'm just not sure. And then as well, on the side of Seven Rats, they pushed into a double Hori hold and spawn. I'm sure like what they could have done is they could have tried to probe a bit with the light tank on A side, like just get a little bit more information before making the play into B. Or if you're gonna make a play into B, why not just do it immediately before Moon can set up, which is what Seven Rats did in the previous game. They stepped B, and they had a setup to actually counter Moon's reset. But unfortunately, I guess maybe Moon just kind of outstratted them there. Maybe if I had to like reanalyze that game, just because they had two Horis that were just holding in spawn, and then Seven Rats just kind of pushed into that double Hori spawn hold, while also winning the other side as well. So like a 268 and a light tank were trying to hold Seven Rats spawn, but somehow on the other side, I wasn't really paying attention to it because I thought the main brawl was on the spawn side of Moon, but I thought that losing that brawl in the Seven Rats spawn was also a huge a game changer for Moon. So we're gonna see a 7 heavy lineup from the side of Seven Rats, and then we're gonna see RHM and 4005 on the side of Moon. So in terms of diversity, I do like the use of a 45 by Moon, but whether it can be effective or not, we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so let me go high real quick, and we're gonna see Moon actually go a bit aggressive towards the low side of the ramps. And we do see on the other side, Seven Rats, they are going to be playing a couple guys on top of the ramps, and I'm interested to see if they're just going to push and whether Moon are going to try to get crossfire shots onto Ghost. Right here, if you are Moon, you need to kill Ghost. Ghost is the kill target right now. Do not let him survive. Do not let him back up into cover. And thankfully, they are taking initiative. They are already pushing onto Seven Rats ramp, and they do get the quick kill on Ghost. So well played from the side of Moon. And here, Teams Tactico, you need to drive forward, you need to try to get safe, and it looks like the 4005 is getting pushed, he's getting pressured by King Ghidorah, but Seven Rats are just missing the shots on the 45, the 45 is going to be able to reload a quick clip, and on the other side, Chozo is going to fall, and we see Canna Cricket in the far corner, is getting focused out by Inferno and Teams Tactico, he is going to be 2 shots away from death, and on the other side, we do see that the 45 is able to put in another massive clip into King Ghidorah, and he's getting help from the RHM, so 4005 was able to put in 2 clips, he was able to kite a bit, run out, and now Ghidorah is going to be a kill for carry in the RHM, and we're going to be seeing a quick 5v3. This is going to be a victory for Moon, and I'm just surprised by this. I didn't expect to, I didn't think Seven Rats would just let Ghost die. I feel like their tanks that were like kind of sitting back in this bush here should have tried to apply a bit of pressure, try to shoot out the repush on the heavy tanks that went for the isolated kill on Ghost. They could have at least tried to do something to try to keep Ghost alive a bit longer, but I guess he just died way too fast for that to happen. Maybe these guys were a bit worried about the corner crossing, so a little bit of an unfortunate, I guess, setup there, because I feel like just the way that Seven Rats played, where they had guys high ground, they should have absolutely just bombed all of the Moon tanks who were just playing low ground only. And on Faust, I feel like having a combination of guys like high ground, low ground, it's good, but I feel like all tanks low ground on Faust is a kind of a recipe for disaster. But Moon was they were just able to convert very quickly. So all their tanks were together, they all saw Ghost, they all shot Ghost, and they just immediately went for him, and that was very, very good play from the side of Moon. They saw a kill in front of them, they put in their clips, they pushed for cover, they got the kill, and then they got another kill, and then they were fine. So, well played for Moon, where they were able to just play together and convert for a kill quickly, but I feel like on the side of Seven Rats, they could have played for their positional advantage. They had high ground, but they also had a bunch of tanks set up to like shoot out a repush by Moon, but they just didn't, and I'm not sure why. That was weird. I feel like they could have easily equalized. So, let me adjust the score. This is going to be 2-1 in favor of Seven Rats. Seven Rats are facing elimination from the arena competition should they lose to Moon in this very next game. And just the way that Moon is playing, where they're playing together, they're playing aggressive. I like this gameplay a lot from them. This is a far better showing than they had against Seven Rats in the first set of today's stream. In the meantime, I actually probably after this game, I do want to check up on how the other brackets are doing. So this is Apex, and they are in grand finals against 322. This is Origin. Doesn't seem like this game will load. Yeah, okay, whatever, that's fine. So we're gonna see this exact same lineup from Seven Rats, and they're gonna be playing against the exact same lineup from Moon. So maybe we're gonna see like the exact same strategies, or actually no, never mind, not same lineup. They have an extra Hori now, so a bit more firepower. Let's see if the Hori is going to be as effective as the 4005 was from last game. And we're gonna see the Moon tanks are actually going to be playing a bit towards the A side, and it looks like they're going to want to try to bait. Yeah, they're going to try to like do a bit of a weird bait, and I'm not sure what the position from Lord Kaus and Jay Miguel is, but it looks like Carry does get shot blind, actually trying to go for a bit of a spotting, and unfortunately he isn't able to spot the crossing of Canna Cricket and Chooso and Elemental, but it looks like they're going to try to play for ramps, and they're eventually going to proxy spot the two 116s down low, and I wonder if they're just going to immediately take initiative and just push Keems, because Keems is just completely alone. If they all push him, they're just going to get completely bumped to death, and Black Viper does get completely clipped out. He is tracked, and he is going to die very soon. He is one shot away, and he is just dead. Black Viper just hung his tank completely for free, and now it seems like Seven Rats, they look like they're grouped up and they want to try to re-push the down low, but I don't think that's the correct play. It could potentially net them a couple of kills, but they're just going to completely give up their positional advantage. And it looks like Jay Miguel and Lord Kaus are able to back out just in time and just matrix a bunch of shots from the Seven Rats tanks who were trying to go for the counter push. And it looks like Ghost just hung his tank on the wide angle to the two TDs. And now all the Seven Rats tanks that are going for the two 116s, Jay Miguel and Lord Kaus, are able to convert those two kills, but it's just too little too late. Look at the HP differential. We're going to see Moon in the grand finals against Oblivion. Seven Rats just got knocked out. Incredible. Well played to Moon. So Moon, I thought it was weird how they were setting up tanks, like where Dead Concept was, but they were able to spot this crossing, this heavy crossing, and they were able to just completely nuke. I think it was it Black Viper or King Ghidorah? It was one of them. I think it was Black Viper, but he just completely got caught out and just blew up here. He just got shot by both TDs and a 116, I believe. So, good play to Moon, just getting very good crossfire, very good shootout, just getting 3 kills, and what a victory for Moon. Well played. GG's to you guys. Wow. All right. So I gotta watch this back a little bit. I mean, Black Viper just got completely caught out. A little bit unfortunate for him. He was just like rear on to a bunch of Moon tanks who were just shooting him from like beyond, like from like a little bit from their spawn, like between their spawn and the A cap. And Ghost trying to make a bit of counterplay on the wide angle, but he just got completely bombed by the 4005 and the Hori. And then King Ghidorah, I'm not sure how he died, but maybe he was Maybe he was a guy trying to pinch from down low and just got focused out first, but bit unfortunate from the side of 7 Rats. He just hung a tank. Every game they lost, he just hung a tank. Very unfortunate. I'm just going to quickly ready up and then give these guys time to finalize their lineup. But I do kind of want to talk about those games because I feel like they're a bit interesting. So, the first game we watched, what maps did we watch? Okay. It was I know I watched Faust because I just saw it. What else did I see? I just need to scroll through these until it clicks with me. Hang on. I genuinely think I have like dementia at this young of an age. I'm kind of cooked. It was Goldville. Yeah, Goldville. So I think it was game 1. We saw that 7 Rats, they did an early B play with oh sorry, wrong colors. They did an early B play with 2 tanks, and Moon had 1 guy here, but 7 Rats were ready for it. They had a Kron here ready to just shoot him, or maybe he was playing a bit further back, but either way, he had this angle on this Kron going for the reset. They had this angle, they also had this angle as well, so this guy just got completely punished by the 7 Rats setup. So, well played from 7 Rats. They know their angles, they know their crossfire, they don't they did their homework. And then after after this, I feel like Moon kind of outplayed 7 Rats, I'd say, even in this situation, because what happened was, I'm just gonna erase a bunch of these kings. I don't remember exactly what the positions were, but one Kron, it was King Ghidorah. He was playing here, and he just got crossfired nearly to death, just because he took a bit of a lazy pathing in the open. I'm not sure who spotted him. Maybe it was like maybe a heavy tank, like playing in the middle, but I know for a fact that he was just getting shot up from guys like up here in this bush where they have crossfire on him. He was probably getting shot like here as well from the guy in mid. I'm not sure if maybe the Kron who got bled at the start got some revenge angles on him like this, but this Kron was just almost dead. He was like 7 HP or something, just hiding behind a hill. And what happened is that 7 Rats, they had a bit of a weak setup in their spawn where they had only, say, 1 guy here, or wrong color, 1 guy here. I'm just gonna race the green tanks. You had the low HP guy here, and then you had only a Karo covering in this house back here. Uh, this needs to get changed. Yeah, like this. And then you had, like, I think it was like 3 moon tanks that were just sitting kind of like here-ish. I wanna say about 3 of them. I don't know the exact number, but 3. They should have just pushed like this, pressured Ghost, and then they could have gotten maybe a sneaky kill on this Kron, because this Kron, he cannot back up. So the only way to kill this Kron is to pressure him from the front, and the way that this Kron was facing was towards spawn. So if he backs up, he's going to die to a guy in town, or he's going to die to like a guy here or a guy here. So the only way he can really move, or the only way he can like, only thing he can do is stay still at this position. And the way you kill him is you either pressure from the front or you try to pressure from the other side, from C side. And pressuring C alone was actually the play that got Moon, that threw Moon the game, because they basically, despite bleeding a tank nearly to death, they hung a tank of their own. So unfortunately, if Moon were able to see this play where he just push spawn, ignore this car. This car, it's scary, sure, it's a clipper, but you just gotta accept that you're going to be taking shots no matter what whenever you're pushing in competitive. So as soon as you make a push, you just go, go, go. You pick up 2 kills, and then you proceed to try to pinch out the Caro. And I think that would have won Moon the game. In the meantime, we do see that the games have started between Moon versus Oblivion, or sorry, I'll change it to Oblivion versus Moon. So score is 0-0. And let's see where these fine gentlemen are gonna go. We do see 2 TPs, bit of a crazy lineup. We're gonna see some VK-72s and some 2-shot Yos, which I find interesting. So Yos, we haven't seen them at all tonight, and I'm very surprised to see them. We also haven't seen TPs at all, so bit of an interesting showing on the side of Oblivion, while on the other side, we do see a bit of a more more of a familiar lineup by Moon, where they have Ho-Ri's 116s, kind of replaying like the previous meta. And we do see a bit of a small shootout on the side of Moon and Oblivion down this lane, but I would say that the trades were a bit equal. Who just says I can't use commands. Yeah, that's been a thing for a while. I think there was a bit of a bug with commands that were causing game crashes, which is why the commands are not in game right now. It does look like Gentleman is getting a bit bled out in his yo, and it does look like Ranger is peeking out in his yo as well. He is trying to put in shells. He puts in his clip, being effective, but it looks like that Moon is going to take a very fast push into the two Oblivion tanks who are isolated, and I think this is actually a very good play from them, but they need to try to convert very quickly, and it looks like Keeps is going to get himself killed over here, and Akame, or not Akame, N13 looked like he was about to fall, but Akame is doing a great job at shielding him, so well played from the side of Oblivion, just doing a good job keeping their tanks alive, and it looks like Moon's push is completely stopped in its tracks, and it looks like Lord Callus is going to be the next up in the focus fire list, and he does fall to Akame. Well placed shot. Well, very good crossfire that Akame and Ranger have developed over here, and it looks like Weedsmoker is trying to create another crossfire angle on Akame. Well played from him, but it's not going to be enough. Nemo is going to be the focus fire target. He's going to get completely clipped up by the Yo, and Ranger puts in a very good clip, picks up the kill on the Ho-Ri, and Inverno is going to slow kill Ranger, but that's going to be, it's going to take quite a bit of time, and J. Miguel, he's looking for another shot, but he needs a shot of his own, and unfortunately, the two TPs on the side of Oblivion bounce the shots on J. Miguel, so this game is still kind of close. If Gentleman falls here, this is going to be 3v3, and we could see Moon potentially bring this back, because Group is trying to go for the isolated kill on Weedsmoker over here, which gives the Ho-Ri and J. Miguel time to potentially play for the kills on these two 60 TPs. Unfortunately, we do see that Inverno does take a shot from the 60 TP, and Dizzy is going to be shortly on his side, and we see Group over here 1v1ing Weedsmoker. This is going to be an easy 1v1 for the VK72. Group knows how to defend his shots, so he should be fine over there. We do see another 1v1 on this side between the TP and the Ho-Ri, and we're going to see yet another 1v1, but not a 1v1. It seems like Kuchis is going to open up an angle on the Ho-Ri, and Dizzy unfortunately misses his shot on the Ho-Ri, isn't able to get that kill, and this is going to be a short win for Oblivion. A bit of a very close game, I gotta say. This is a very good fight put up by Moon. They were able to turn this, and somehow J. Miguel was able to beat Group in the 1v1. What happened over here, bro? What? Group was like super healthy, and somehow he just like lost all that HP against like a one-shot 116 or something like that. What happened over there? I couldn't even see that. I was focused on the two TPs trying to take their 2v2s, or their two 1v1s, I have to say, before Kuchis went ahead and opened up an angle on the Ho-Ri. But I think Moon had the right idea. They went for the push on the Oblivion tanks, but just the crossfire that Oblivion had, they were able to just completely stop that push from in its tracks. They were able to convert very well. They got the quick kill on Keem's Tactical, who was only able to put in 2 effective shots of damage, and then D-Lord House was up next. He only put in 1 shot of damage, and if we look at just the amount of HP that these tanks had left, like the 2 TPs, Kujas and Dizzy, if these two guys were able to put in maybe Lord House 2 more shots, maybe this guy 1 more shot, this match could have been a bit different. But let's see if Moon can compose themselves. They're playing very good tonight. This is an excellent showing from this team. I have not really seen them before. I've never heard of them before, and they're putting up fight against a well-established top 3 team on the NA server. Oblivion, they're a strong team. I'd say they're very strong contenders for the Grand Finals next season. We just got to see if they can lock in. And then these Moon guys, they are putting up a very strong fight, so I'm excited to see what these guys can do in this set. I hope this set, can go to at least a Game 4, at least a Game 5. A Game 5 would be awesome to watch on day 2 of this arena competition. So on the Oblivion side, we're going to see a lot of mice, a lot of German super heavy, so VK72, double mouse. We do see Ranger in the TP, as well as Gent. We're going to see Akame doing a bit of trolling. They're like trying to unready up for some reason, so not sure what they're doing. but we're gonna see probably Oblivion try to play, I would say, definitely town with this. It'd be weird to see them go C, but going C is 100% possible. It'd be just interesting, though, to see whether they go C or not. So, hopefully we can fly up high and get a sense of where they're going. I do like the, I do like some of these camos that the team has. I like Ranger's legendary camo, of course. I do like the camo that Dizzy has. The Mouse Harvester, of course, that's Aura right there. And I'm not sure what this camo is on Mista. You gotta get a new paint job, buddy. So, we are actually gonna see some mice drive towards Seaside with these TPs. Probably what these TPs are gonna do is we're gonna go for like early spots and or shots down this lane. But it doesn't look like Moon is gonna really give it to them. And we do see Dizzy go for a bit of an aggressive spotting run. Knocking down this tree and just spawning down this entire lane. And it's a very common spotting run that I like to do in pubs, and I find that it gets a lot of information without getting punished in return. So group well-placed HE shot and really good double tap from the two TPs into Deep Lord Callus. So well-placed shells by Ranger and Gentleman. I was expecting him to hit that. He's a good he has good mechanics. Ranger, I'm surprised he hit that. But we're gonna see Moon take a bit of map control where they have the concept in a very strong hold down position. He's going to put a clip into group, well played shots into group from teams, and we're gonna see Oblivion get the cap advantage. I'm not sure why Moon hasn't really stepped C yet. They can move J. Miguel into C cap and just step the base instead of having to go down on caps, have to push into a bunch of German super heavies, like pushing into like setup super heavies that are ready to intercept like either B or try to like make a repush onto C side is going to be an absolute nightmare from Moon. So I think Moon's best bet of winning this game is to try to see if they can bleed out these TPs, and it does look like these double Horis are doing a good job at playing against Gentleman. Gentleman is 1200 HP. He is going to potentially bleed to death if he stays there, but it seems like these Horis are aware. They know that there's something around the corner. They know that Ranger is there. They're backing up a little bit more, and maybe they could go for a potential repush, but it does look like they're just going to go for shots onto Gentleman instead of looking for shots on Ranger. And it does look like Ranger gets massive kills, 754, and it doesn't look like Nemo was able to pop reactive in time. So this is a very strong crossfire angle that Ranger has, and he's eventually going to be focused out here, but Gentleman's going to put a shot into the cross and gets a kill on one of the Horis. Well played from Gentleman. Is he going to go help Ranger, or is he going to go to the main brawl? And we do see a bit of a counter push on the other side of the map. I was not paying attention to this, but like I said, these German super heavies are just able to spawn through. What I believe happened was that the Moon tanks tried to do a bit of a weird play into the spawn, but Oblivion was set up for that, and they just lost on effectively every side of the map. So Moon, despite having a very close game 1, they just got completely boxed game 2. Oblivion 10k HP up against Moon, as well as they have everything. Caps, Tang 7-0, hi Akame, and sub to Bob, thank you guys. But Oblivion, they're 9k HP up, they have caps, they have tank advantage, it's everything. Can you say something mean to Ranger to knock him down a notch? Well, I don't need to say something mean to Ranger, not really, because he'll find a way to knock himself down a notch. I will say Ranger did make a very good play this game where, one, he was able to be effective with his shots in mid, and then two, he played very aggressive into the that one lane where we saw him like try to ego chow like the two Horis. He was just waiting for timing, wait for them to try to like peek for a hard shot on Gentleman before putting in his shots, and he was very effective, as we see. Very good pen ratio, 6 out of 6, and there's nothing more he could have done better, but he should have done something more, if I had to say like something, you know, to knock him down a notch, Mista. So there's your there's your request done. And well, there's something more you could have done, Mista, but I mean, there's nothing more you could have done, but you should have done something more. That's what I'll say. Moon, very very strong, I'd say, first game performance, but the next game they just got completely boxed by the super heavy lineup by Oblivion. Oblivion just gave them really no options. They went up on caps and forced Moon to try to make a push, but when Moon was trying to play into their spawn and also enemy spawn, I guess he just got boxed on both sides. So they were trying to play for like too much at once, and they were doing a good job in their spawn where they were bleeding out Gentleman into the 60 TP. It's just that they needed to one, just go for the isolation, like spot Ranger earlier, and just go for the isolated kill on Ranger, because as soon as they cross that corridor, and if Gentleman's like still on reload, Gentleman can't really help him at all, and Rangers would be a free kill. But then on the other side, they need to not make that play into spawn. They need to set up like one of the craziest C holds possible, where they're all sitting on the red line, just waiting for the mice to try to like repush or something. So we're gonna see Middleburg. This is a good comp map. In public games, I hate this map because a lot of people just don't know how to play Middleburg in pubs. Some people like to say town is for clowns, but if it's supremacy, that's not the case. We're gonna see what this mouse on the side of Ranger and the mouse harvester. This is a very nice camo. Very nice player driving a very nice tank with a very nice camo. We see group in the Type 5 heavy. With the legendary camo as well. It's a great camo. And then we're gonna see if they go town or not, and it does look like they're gonna go town, especially with these double fleeces. So let's see what the Moon tanks are gonna do, and it does look like they're all mostly going up top, and they are trying to put in some shots across. Dizzy, with a quick spotting run, is able to light up 6 out of 7. All 7 tanks on Moon side are spotted, which gives Oblivion free reign to just step into the B-cap. They know that they can grab it for free. N13 is already making his way there, and we do see Invierno in the reset position, but is Invierno gonna be enough to get this reset on B? And it does look like N13 is capping it at the very edge of the cap. He's not giving Invierno any good information, any good angles to reset. It does look like Invierno's going for blind shots, but he needs to be peeking up just a little bit more aggressively just for the reset. It doesn't look like N13 is capping it, actually. So it gives Invierno a bit of time to try to reload his shells, but very well placed shot from Gentleman. Gentleman, one of them, has some great mechanics, by the way. And Ranger does look for an HE shell. Of course, it's Ranger shooting HE. Why not go for the gamer AP shot at that point? Come on, man. And Invierno, despite being in the corner, is bleeding quite a bit, and on the other side of things, we do see a bit of a counterplay on the side of Moon, where they are able to take a quick isolation on Akame, and fortunately Akame is being covered very well. Keem's Tactical does get punished for his peek by the Type 5 and the Felice. So, J. Miguel, he can slowly kill Akame, and I feel like if Keem's Tactical peeks from the same angle as J. Miguel, Akame will die for free. But unfortunately, it does look like N13 in the middle is getting completely focused out. Fleet Smoker is going to have one more shell from him. He bounces the shot, but this is going to be kind of good, I'd say, for Moon, because they're slowly breaking down this hold. But unfortunately, it seems like they just aren't consolidated enough to make one single push, and it does look like Oblivion are going to make their own counter push onto Kins, and Kins is going to be very difficult to pin. Oh, they're actually going for cross shots onto Kins. Good focus, fire discipline from the side of Oblivion. It does look like Oblivion are going to just pick up this game just off of the HP lead that they have. This is going to die in shortly. Nemo is going to be next on the list, and Kins, despite being peeked on by a bunch of guys, he's still alive. And on the other side, Dizzy was able to pick up the kill on the RHM. He's going to be annoying to J. Miguel, and this is going to be an Oblivion win. So I would say that Moon, they had some interesting ideas where they wanted to try to pressure Oblivion spawn, but the angles that they were taking, they were just getting like kind of countered by Oblivion setup, where they had Mista kind of sit here and pre-aim the constant peeking up top, and then they had, I think it was Root here, do something very similar as well. So that guy got double tapped very quickly, and then they had a very strong town to hold, where they had a bunch of guys just sitting down this lane, just pre-aiming into B like this. And then I guess Moon just didn't have much options. They were just bleeding to death. They can't really push into like a Type 5 of Mouse in town. That's so difficult to do. They have to try to work their angles and try to win other sides of the map, but they were just losing, I have to say. They did eventually kill Akame. Like, Akame died, but it was just a bit too little too late. So by the time they repushed from Oblivion spawn side, Oblivion already made a bit of a counter push through the middle themselves, and they actually shot out the moon tanks that were pushing from Oblivion spawn. So I thought that was a very good angle that they picked up, and we see group in the Type 5 very effective. Ranger in the Mouse also very effective. I'd say everybody on Oblivion did a good job at doing, like, you know, their shots worth, their clips worth of damage. Akame, even though he died first, he did 1600. That's good enough. And unfortunately, we do see a bit of a weaker showing from Moon. I thought they were playing very well like game one, but then I guess the rest of the games they just got completely boxed. But commiserations to Moon, you guys played well. We will be seeing you actually in day 3 of the arena competition. So I believe it's top 2 of each day go on, or am I tripping? So I just want to make sure that best team of each group. Ah, okay. So I'm completely trolling then. So we are going to be seeing the top team of each group go on to the final stage. So from group 2, we have. Wait, what's going on? Okay, this is. I guess this set right here doesn't exist. Am I trolling, or am I being trolled right now, or what's going on? I thought this is grand finals. This should be so. Oblivion should move on to day 3. Origin versus this team is ongoing, and we're gonna see. Right, this is the Joker team, my former team. They went to tiebreak against these guys. What are we doing right now? As soon as I retire to go stream, these guys are struggling. What's going on over there? Okay, that's interesting. But interestingly, we see Goy, the Apex team. This is a top 4 team right here. They have a lot of guys. Blue, he's been around the block for a while. Asklad, which is Pharaoh, he's been around the block for a while. Spanish Sahara, I'm not familiar with this guy. Who is this guy? Low Battles, is this an EU player? Marketman, he's been around the block for a while. Thorkel, don't know who you are. Played on 322, then Origin, then Void. I don't know who Thorkel is. Tizuzu, which is DJ. He's a longtime teammate of mine, very good friend. He's been around the block for a while. Power, this guy's been around the block for a while. Hagman and Sherman, these are 2 Ponda guys. They're very good. They've been around the block for a while. Mormon G, also been around the block for a while. Surprised they lost to 322, but then again, 322 did beat Origin in the leader competition, which was actually streamed on my channel. So if you are interested in seeing how 322 played against Joker from a player POV back when I was playing with Joker, check out my earlier streams. Maybe you'll learn like a thing or two if you're an up-and-coming comp player. But interesting to see some of these games. I gotta say, Oblivion, I expect them to win this bracket, but Monkeys, you guys played your hearts out. You guys beat 7 Rats, which I was very surprised about. This was an upset in my opinion. But you guys deserved it 100%. And then against Oblivion, I think you could have picked up maybe game 1. Maybe game 1 if there was just a bit of better play, a bit more penned shots on the 116's side. So we could have maybe seen a game 4, but either way, like despite this being a 3-0 stat line, well played to Monkeys. I don't think I've been keeping up with the scoreboard, which is a bit of an error on my end. I still need to get used to this whole streaming stuff, but Oblivion 3-0 Moon, there you go. And then let me see the YouTube chat. I have not been keeping up with YouTube chat at all, so Let me pull it up real quick. Group, thanks for subscribing, man. Hope you're doing well. Checking up a YouTube chat. Button, hi guys. Salutations to NA Comp. What's up, Button? And work more Ranger slander. Guys, what is this? What is this? Like, what is this stuff about Ranger slander? I'm just telling the truth about Ranger and his tendencies to blow up. Okay, like sometimes he has his good games, which I've shown tonight, but in general, he can blow up a lot. And I hope to be able to stream that later on as the actual season for comp gets announced. Maybe it'll be in February, maybe not. All right. I guess this game is ongoing. Oh, I think Megaline is streaming this set. Maybe I could like go over to his stream real quick and then see how that's going. But Group 2 is done. Let's see if Origin has finished their set or not. They have not, so that set's still ongoing. And then